Jared Polin, Photo.com, and this is your
Woo! I'm slamming it tonight.
Photo News Fix. This fix is brought to you by Storyblocks, which has been an invaluable asset for us for well over 10 years at this point.
10 years!
Storyblocks gives you unlimited access to royalty-free photos, videos, music, sound effects, vectors, motion backgrounds, and so much more for one subscription cost, which means you never pay per clip. On top of that, there's a Storyblocks plugin for Adobe Premiere Pro that allows you to search all of Storyblocks right from Premiere, which is such a time saver. And for those of you who use DaVinci Resolve, templates are now available in your Storyblocks library. We pretty much use something from Storyblocks in every video that we make. In fact, in honor of me going to Reno, Nevada to the National Bowling Center, or whatever it's called, here's a random bowling clip of a bowler clearly going over the line and fouling.
Over the line!
Now that's just one of many bowling clips available. To sign up for Storyblocks or to learn more, head on over to storyblocks.com/fro. First up, Nikon Rumors is reporting that Nikon is working on releasing a new video-oriented Z.
Salty.
They claim it will be similar to that of the Sony FX3 and sport some red tech inside. Now, it only makes sense that Nikon tries to capitalize on their purchase of Red and incorporate some of their video tech into future cameras. Nikon Rumors says this new camera will be based off of the Nikon Z6 III, but with a design that's more geared towards video versus photo. Now, does this mean it will do away with the EVF? Does this mean it will lack photo features altogether? Now, in terms of specs, Nikon Rumors had nothing else to report. They claim the official announcement is expected later this year, possibly the third or fourth quarter, but with how things go in the camera world these days, that will probably slip.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
If this is real, it's nice to see Nikon making some bigger moves into the video world. If it will pay off, well, that's a different story altogether. Next up, Canon has finally released the long-rumored firmware update for the R1 and R5 Mark II. And man, oh man, is it major. A major nothing. Phone call. I wonder who that could be. Hello? Oh, it's the money truck delivery people? You're not delivering anymore? Okay, bye. Both the R1 and R5 Mark II get the same exact updates, and they're numbered 1.02 and 1.03 respectively, not like 5.79, which is something that Nikon would do. They'd go from like 1.0 to 5.
9.95.
Poo poo poo, I had to do it. Anyway, I personally won't be rushing to update my cameras anytime soon because they're not that big of an update. There are two bug fixes. One fixed an issue where the subject could not be focused during AF in certain zoom ranges. What is this, a Nikon? And the second one optimizes the timing when the camera temp rise warning appears. The overheating warning would pop up not too long after shooting outside or video inside for that matter. But the thing is, the cameras have like 10 levels of overheating, which is totally overkill in my book. Now, I guess Canon realized that that was kind of a pain in the ass, and they tweaked when those symbols come up on the screen. Now, if you're going to run the firmware update, Canon asks that you use only one memory card inserted into the camera at a time. Now, this is an extremely minor update that leads me to believe Canon just wasn't ready to put out a more major update. Now, that's not always a bad thing. Here's why. Phone call. Oh, who could that be? Hi. Oh, it's the money truck. You're coming back? I don't know if you should come back just yet. I haven't finished. If they were to rush something out and it somehow bricked a bunch of cameras or caused some other unforeseen issues, that would be a far more major problem. And it's also possible that they determined the updates many of us would like to see wouldn't lead to more sales right now, or going even deeper, maybe their developers are busy at work on forthcoming products that have a higher return on their investment.
Oh, I like money.
Now keep in mind, this is just speculation, and what I think doesn't mean that it's right, also doesn't mean that it's wrong.
That means shit.
Now, I personally would like to have seen the updates that I wanted, but at the end of the day, both the R1 and R5 Mark II are fully functional without a major firmware update, at least as of now. And finally, is the Canon R6 Mark III coming sooner rather than later?
I don't know.
According to Canon rumors, they were told there will be 2 new lenses announced alongside the R6 III in late May of 2025. Initially, they claimed it was coming in Q1 of 2025, but if I had to guess, it's not gonna come until 2026, as Canon is preparing to release more APS-C video-focused bodies, at least according to the rumors. But Canon rumors did share some interesting news about a few features the R6 Mark III might be getting. One is that the external screen will get an OLED panel. Now, I'm not sure about that one, but if Canon thinks more and more losers are going to forego the EVF for the LCD screen, maybe the extra brightness of that OLED display will come in handy. Another rumored spec would be that it gets the same 24 megapixel stacked sensor that the R3 had. Can you imagine a sub $3,000 camera with such capabilities? On a side note, speaking of the R3, Canon just added a $1,000 instant rebate, bringing the price of a new R3 down to $3,999.99 and a refurb, if they're in stock, from Canon to $3,599. Now, I told all of you R3 shooters months ago, you should have dumped your bodies and rolled the money right into an R1, because with refurb selling for $3,599, used prices are going to be around $3,000 retail, which means $2,500 or $2,600 is what you'll get in trade at a store. And actually, I checked B&H, they're only offering $2,145 for a like new R3 as we speak. Now back to the R6 Mark III rumored specs. They also expect it to get at least one CF Express B slot and probably keep one SD slot, and have a Digic accelerator for similar autofocus to that of the R5 Mark II, which is incredible and better than the R3. But wait, there's more. They claim Canon will be testing out a new flippy screen that not only can flip out to the side and rotate for vloggy style videos, but finally tilt up and down from the back of the camera.
It's about time.
That right there, that's something I've been complaining about for years, and it's going to be years until I get that feature on a top of the line camera. Now, if just the sensor specs are true, this camera is going to be insane. And there you have it. That's your photo news fix this time around. Thank you very much for watching. Jared Polin, PhotoPhoto.com. See ya.